Thank you, Heather. Appreciate you coordinating all of this for us. And thank you all for joining. This is something that we're going to probably do on a periodic basis, as a way to continue to engage the university community, share views from what's happening. For those of you that have been maybe in some other environments, traditional or otherwise, a fireside chat is simply an opportunity for the president of the university just to have like casual conversation about things that are happening either in our field, in our industry, or at our university. And this is an opportunity again for us to exchange ideas and just sort of have on that informal dialogue. That's why it's sort of a fireside chat, quote unquote. And if you have your marshmallows or s'mores or a cup of hot cocoa, whatever, makes you feel warm and comfortable as we have this sort of dialogue. So recently, I think you may know, a group of us participating in the annual Accreditation Resource Conference for Art that's put on by our institutional accreditor. It's an opportunity to learn about what's sort of happening from a regulatory perspective, from a practice perspective, in terms of things that are occurring in the work that we do. So this year it was in San Diego, which was great, kind of in our backyard. Those that are from here locally were able to participate. Some for, second, third, fourth, fifth time, and others for the first time. So we thought we'd just, kind of share a little bit of what we learned with you and kind of cascade that knowledge. And I'm going to start off with Nicole and Bridget, who also presented on behalf of the university. So I'm going to turn it over to them to share sort of, the highlight from their presentation and their takeaways from the conference.
Right. Nicole, do you want to start?
Sure. So we presented, I don't know how many people know. So Bridget now kind of helps support academic advising. And so we presented basically on the partnership between academic affairs, which is curriculum development, faculty, assessment, and then now student advising. Like, how are we all working together to improve the student experience? It was very well received, in my opinion. Like, a lot of people were like, you guys have done so much in 1 year. Bridget, should we just share kind of some of that, the high level?
Sure, yeah.
So kind of some of the things that we've done within like 1 year. We helped to revise the new student orientation. So that was a big project with advising. They had a lot of really great content. And so we just helped kind of from like an instructional design perspective, basically make it a little bit more engaging, really putting front and center like the absolute things that a student would need to know. We also implemented like a classroom concern form. So if students are having issues in their class, we are now part of the conversation so that we can help kind of start triaging these issues before they get to like a grade appeal or withdrawal. Just something where the entire university, we can kind of start connecting our advising team to the right program directors or deans and say, hey, there's an issue. How can we resolve this? What else, Bridget?
The topic itself was about amplifying the student voice. And because the advisors really are the people who hear from the students most frequently, we tried to take a lot of their feedback and then put it into practice, basically. One of the big things also is anytime we have a curriculum change or something, Nicole communicates directly with the advising team to let them know this has changed in this course because, if the students have questions about something in the course, they typically will go to the advisor. So just the line of communication and how that's changed and the number of appeals have gone down. I mean, we have some really positive data to show the benefits of having had merged these two groups.
And that grade book, the new grade books was a direct result literally of this partnership. So advising said, hey, it would be so great if students could see their current grades because we are getting them with the calculator and we're hand calculating this for the student. And we're like, what are you talking about? So we were able to make it happen with them. And I really do think that it's very valuable for the student, but it literally was a direct result of our advising team saying, hey, can we redo this and make it better for the student? And then the simplified syllabus that we're working on, that's kind of another takeaway. Our advisors are saying there's too many places for students to see things. There's a syllabus, which is really long, and then there's the course content. And so how can we simplify this so that our students are seeing kind of one ultimate source of truth? And that kind of sprung this more simplified syllabus project. So there's just a lot of things our advisors had a pulse on that our students were really struggling with that we were able to kind of quickly shift over and change and are still changing.
Great. It's awesome. What about any takeaways for you guys from like you gained from being in the conference or things that are relevant to hear?
Well, one of the things I'll add quickly is one of my favorite sessions was actually about communication within an institution, and they implemented something called the dish with Trish because the gal who actually was in charge of it, her name happened to be Trish, so they tried to think of like a catchy name. And I think we need to come up with a catchy name for this. But it really was just open communication like this, where I think every other week the topic changes, and whoever wants to join it can join it. They said they get questions all over the place. Like they'll get some about curriculum, they'll get some about assessment, they'll get some about written for our aid. So in Dish with Trish, it's just kind of an opportunity for anyone that has a question or anyone that wants to learn about the different topics. Then they just have a bi-weekly 30-minute time where sometimes they said they'll have 100 people join, sometimes it will be 15. And then sometimes they have the topics in advance, but then it might just morph into something interesting and they decide we're going to talk about this time. It's not really super structured, but they said in general, it's been really well received and it's really opened up all kinds of communication because they, like us, have primarily people who are remote.
Well, I mean, we could do something like open office hours or something like
Yeah.
that on a monthly basis and see what the interest is and get questions ahead. And maybe Heather and you and I can talk about coordinating because I think as we do learn things and have this kind of, excuse me, data points, I think it's worth sharing.
Yeah.
And just pretty visibility that things are happening across the institution. All right, well, we turn it over to our registrar, Bria Maldonado, who was able to participate in art for the first time. What were your takeaways, Bria?
So when I first here attending the conference, I thought it was very enlightening because you have, a spectrum of different sessions you can attend. So I attended one on PE, advising, AI. That was interesting as well. But I think the one that was the biggest takeaway for me was a session around culture of care. And I thought it was the timing was perfect because that said our leadership meetings how much we want to be more connected as a university within our department. So culture of care really surrounds itself around focusing on people and relationships, team building, collaboration, and focusing on the people that we work with and creating that culture of care for one another. And in addition to that, then we could focus on policy, procedure, and implementation. So the reason why I felt the timing was just impeccable was because we're currently working on leading rate swim, student finance, with enrollment, advising. And I think we're trying to build exactly that, a culture of care so that we can show each other. I do care about you. I want to reach over the table and have a chat. I want to collaborate on this issue. One point that they brought up was a lot of times we step into meetings and we're tackling a problem. So instead of thinking of having to join this call to resolve this problem, thinking I'm speaking to a person right first before I'm tackling that problem. And that lens is very important whenever we're approaching, situations. So holistically, I think it was, like I said, the timing was perfect because knowing our strengths, our weaknesses as leaders and as colleagues, we can obviously implement changes that ultimately help support the vision we have and the mission that we have to serve our students. So for me, that was the biggest takeaway, but a lot to learn, a lot to grow with, but that was my biggest.
Great. Thank you, Bria. I'll just wrap up. For me, I think honestly, our field continues to rapidly change and, sort of the two hot topics. There's a lot of discussion around issues that we hear about nationally in terms of student aid and FAFSA issues that have occurred. But the thing I think that's most relevant for us is really how institutions are wholeheartedly embracing artificial intelligence as a tool for learning and providing skills for the next generation of graduates, the professionals. the president, the outgoing president of Southern New Hampshire University, which I'm sure most of you know, has really become one of the largest online public institutions in the country, not the world, started talking about how, we're starting to see functions within their university really kind of being somewhat replaced by AI, and how while that can sometimes feel threatening, it's actually creating an opportunity for them to leverage their workforce in new and different ways. And sort of seeing how it really is sort of, in some way, I know this kind of sounds sort of a little bit really high in the sky, but like the reemergence of the middle class in terms of things like RN being able to have skills to be diagnosticians and leveraging AI in terms of really better facilitate patient care, and how, it's likely that we're going to see more of that sort of skill occurring, and people at higher levels, let's say NPs, some of the things that they do might shift as well in terms of focusing on, surgical care and things like that. So just being mindful of how we are training our students to be practitioners of AI, and not sort of shying away from that. Again, thinking about how we can leverage those tools. And the focus really is sort of changing from how people are trained as epistemologists, or a way in knowing things, to more like ontological, which is a way of being. Like who are we as people? How do we relate to each other? Some of those supposed thought of as like soft skills are going to become more predominant. The other big takeaway for me was this notion of thinking of higher ed with an ROI, or return on investment. If you're an art major or English major, or if you're in a teacher credential program, and what is the return on investment for education? And that's something that is really coming from the Department of Education, that all institutions are being held more and more accountable to. Some of you may know that the Department of Education is now requiring that gainful employment be associated with certificate programs. We have a very unique story to tell in many ways, because that's when the predominant, our graduates are. Nearly all of our graduates are entering professions because of their degrees. Many of our degrees lead to, credential your licensure on the pathway with the profession. So I think that it's going to be very interesting for us as involved as an institution to understand, frankly, what the return on investment is in education for our graduates. And I think the story we can tell how any end informative to higher education at large. So I think those are our takeaways, and open to any questions from the group. Anything in the chat earlier?
Nothing in the chat. And if you want to speak, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
And if there's nothing, we can wrap up and have you folks get back to your job. And, if there are future topics you are interested in, or questions you have, please feel free to forward those either to myself or to another, and we want to do this on future discussions. Otherwise, enjoy your Thursday, and we'll talk soon.
Bye. Thanks for attending.
You all.
Thank you.